My name is Trevor Hauer, and you're watching Sports Hour.
I love sports. Sports Hour.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this newest installment, last day of February, by the way, of Sports Hour. I'm your host, Trevor Hauer, Mark Stainhouse, whatever you want to call me. We have Jenna. We have our hockey analyst for the week. We have 15 minutes to talk some puck, Jenna. What's going on?
Well, first, we actually have a Sabres game going on right now. We're playing the Columbus Blue Jackets at home. I think it's 1-1 right now. Oh,
1-1.
Never mind. It's 2-1. Just got the update.
Oh, way to go.
So,
Yeah,
that's
I
fun.
blame the stream not working for
I
that.
blame Justin.
Oh, my gosh. I just want to see who scored the goal. E. Robinson.
Yep.
Eric Robinson. Who are these players? Some guy named Kent scoring, and then we have Eric Robinson.
And
You know what? That's
Tage
okay.
Thompson
That's all right.
With his 41st goal of the season.
41st of the season.
Crazy.
I know he'll get another one tonight, or maybe Dylan Cousins can get another one
Yeah.
tonight, because that dude had the game of his life on Sunday.
That was insane, yeah.
We were sitting in, right at center ice for that game, too, so that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Dylan Cousins' first NHL hat trick, wearing the awesome goat heads. And not only did that happen, but Tage Thompson scored his 40th goal of the season.
Yes.
Was that the second time of his career? No, he scored 36 or 37 last year, I think.
that was his first career, but
First career 40-goal season. Dylan Cousins got his 100th point. I mean, it was all in all great day for the Sabres. Casey Middlestat,
he did okay. I mean,
you know, he kind of set up a Washington goal, but he also got 2 assists. Maybe you can call that 3 assists, I guess.
I guess so.
But it's 2-1 right now in the game that's going on right now. The Sabres are actually 31, 23, and 4. It's a
They're
great
doing
record
really
right now.
good. We are right now. We're about dancing with the Pittsburgh Penguins for that second wild card spot.
Fraudsburg.
It's really just a matter of who's playing the next game, and we pretty much have seemed to be having the same kind of season at this moment. So I guess we'll see what happens. They're also playing tonight. If we win this, we will again be put into that spot. But yeah.
But you know what? We're also behind the Islanders, and I believe that we were 5 games back and 5 points back. So we can obviously leapfrog them.
Yes.
Hopefully we can. And also, I mean, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the only reason why they're in the spot that they're in right now is because every time they lose in OT. And the NHL gives them that 1 pity point. And that's just how they get there.
Yeah.
So I call them Fraudsburg a lot, or the fraud wins, whatever you want to call them. But I think the Sabres are right there to catch them. They're playing meaningful games in February. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Sure, they're losing 2-1 right now, but there's plenty of hockey to go. We had Craig Anderson in net tonight, and can we talk about his game on Friday night against the Florida Panthers?
Insane. I think he recorded 53 saves.
53 saves.
Amazing goaltending.
That's my 41-year-old goalie.
Geriatric goalie.
That's our geriatric patient, just out of the nursing home, flying down to Florida and making 53 saves. Did you see the big butterfly save he made where he's on the ground and kicked his leg up?
Crazy.
Held the Panthers, who are very underwhelming right now, I think, to 1 goal. Didn't let Sam Reinhart score, so that was cool. Because it's usually always former Sabres. If you watched the episode, watched Sports Hour last week, Ryan O'Reilly scored a hattie. And then if you watched the game in November, Jack Eichel scored a hat trick against us.
Yeah.
But we shut them down. I don't even talk about the Leafs game anymore. That was just a complete train wreck mess. But that Florida game was great. The Tampa Bay Lightning game that we kind of skipped over a little bit was great because out of all the players to score the Sabres' first career shorthanded overtime goal, it was Ilya Lyubushkin who scored 1 goal in his last 202 NHL starts.
That's insane.
Mr. Gummy Bear himself. And, of course, we couldn't hear it at home, so we couldn't hear the awesome Gummy Bear song, but
At least we could hear Whitney yesterday.
we could hear Whitney yesterday. That was awesome. That was an awesome
Sunday.
goal. Or Sunday, whatever day it is right now. You kind of lose track of time, but
Yes.
great. It was a great game. We just got to focus on beating the Columbus Blue Jackets right now.
It should kind of be an easier game for us because they are the last in either the conference or the Atlantic Division at this moment. So let's just hope for the best with this. And then I did want to mention yesterday, the or not yesterday, on sometime last week, the Bruins had one of their first ever goalie goals. Linus Ullmark, he just shot it down into an empty net.
Look who we have on the phone. I don't think his camera's working because our internet is trash down here, but it's Justin Chatham, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear us? Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh, he can't even hear us. Yeah, this is a great idea.
No, I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. How's the game so far?
It's not looking good, so good. You know Columbus is the worst team in the league, but here's the thing. We always play down or up to the level of the opposing team that we are facing. We know this. Classic Sabres behavior. So I won't be surprised with Tuck and Darlene out of the games, right? I won't be surprised if we lose this game. It's sad to say.
He's bringing some insight here. That's good. And it is kind of awkward how I'm just kind of holding it like right here. But, Justin, I think there's still plenty of time to take this win because, I mean, we're the Buffalo Sabres. We're the 2022-2023 Sabres. We find ways to win. We find ways to score. If we get a goal on here, man, that'd be freaking awesome. We get a goal on here.
But wait,
Who's on the ice right now?
right now,
So awkward.
Turka, Olsen, Gus.
Yeah, we got Gergensons on the ice.
Oh my God, I got some complaints about your boy Casey Middlestat.
Oh, yeah, you lay it on us, bro.
So, a few minutes ago, before the second Columbus goal, my boy had the widest. Oh God, my boy had the widest shooting lane I've ever seen in hockey, and he just didn't shoot the puck
Oh,
at their neck. It was ridiculous.
just another day at the office.
Yeah, for Casey Middlestat, let's not shoot the puck. That's how we score goals. That's how we win games, right?
Yeah, and also letting guys named Kent score goals in hockey it should be a crime in itself. I think, in my honest opinion. We see him. All right, man. We'll let you get back to your game because we got a segment to run.
Oh, yes, of course. That segment, I think Sabres forgot that they're on a warpath, if I'm being honest. They need to get back on their warpath.
Sabres on the warpath. They may have forgot where they were, but hopefully they'll find the tracks again.
They got to remember they're on the warpath.
They got to remember they're on the warpath. And then at the first period intermission, I think we could all agree here in the station and on set that they should listen to O-Town at the end of the first period.
Oh, my God, 100%. Like, it's looking like they're playing the Ukraine now.
Live in Vancouver?
Live in Vancouver.
All right. Yep. You heard it here, Justin. Thank you for being on the show.
I'll let you guys get back to it. See you later.
See you, Justin.
Good night.
Wow. What great insight from such a great guy. And I almost just left my phone there. So unprofessional of me.
How
But
dare you?
they still have time. But we found out that our boy Casey Middlestat he still sucks at hockey. Like that's just it's old news.
Unexpected.
Unexpected. Just another day at the office for 37 out there. But down 2-1. He said that Gergensons was on the ice. I don't care. He scored. He scored against Washington. I keep him out there. Maybe he can give us something. And I still think even on the power play, you should give reps to Dylan Cousins too, because that dude is on fire the way he's been playing right now.
Great.
So if you get a chance at a power play, which we really never do because the refs are the refs, but feed the puck to either Thompson or Cousins because you got two lethal weapons right there that can score.
Yes. Sadly, Alex Tuck is still out. He's week to week.
That's not what we needed.
Darlene is day to day, but he is not playing today. So that sucks, but We're good.
We're good. Everything's fine. If we go right back to the standings again, we're still 4th in the Atlantic Division.
Yes.
And we're not going to catch Boston. Nobody's going to catch
No.
Boston. They're at 97 points right now. 222 goals for, 126 goals against. They have a plus 96 goal differential. In second are the Leafs with 82 points. So it's a 15-point drop with 82. Then the Lightning with 78, who we did beat in overtime, shorthanded, by the way, in their house for the first time, I think, since 2018, I think they said, which is absolutely crazy to think about. Sabres in 4th. The Sabres are in 4th in the Atlantic Division, just on the outside looking in, 66 points. The Detroit Red Wings, 64 points. They're right behind us, but they do have a game in hand over us, so I'm not that concerned by it. The Panthers are in 6th with 61 points. That's crazy to think about, too, because they were a great team last year.
They were really good.
Senators in 7th, Montreal in 8th, when Montreal's not blowing up on the ice. So we'll see what happens there. The team that we're facing against tonight, Justin did say it. I don't know if the microphone picked it up, but they are the worst team in the Eastern Conference right now. The Canadians, we thought they were bad with 54 points. Columbus is in dead last with 44 points. Like, that's horrible. The Sabres have 66. They have 44, 22-point advantage, but it's hockey. Anything could happen, but I'm still hoping that the Sabres can pull this one out.
True. I hope they can, too, because I don't know if you knew this, but the last time that we have even gotten close to a wild card position and been in there, 2010.
2010. 2010.
How?
That was in like 3rd grade the last time that happened. And the schedule really doesn't get easier after this game at all, because this is the game that you really should check off on your schedule as a win, because you got Boston on the road on Thursday at 7, a building which we really never win in to begin with, except for if we're talking about New Year's Eve. That was a great game in OT from our boy Alex Tuck. Then we got the Lightning at home for a 12:30 p.m. matinee afternoon game. That's going to be tough. It's always tough playing Tampa Bay. And then Connor McDavid and the Oilers coming to Buffalo next Monday, March 6th. So you got 3 very, very tough games.
Who just scored his 50th goal.
The dude's an absolute machine. Like, no one's going to stop Connor McDavid. I like the Ovechkin talk for chasing 894, but at the end of the day, Connor McDavid's going to score 1,000 goals in his career. And then
100%.
He's already close to 1,000 points. I think he's in, year 6 or 7. He's already at 720-something points. Yeah. The dude's he's going to go down in history as the best hockey player of all time, no questions asked. Because I think by the time Wayne Gretzky was playing, the goalies weren't as good. They weren't as athletic. They're always playing at the top of the crease and stuff like that. Alex Ovechkin's chasing him down with much better goalies. Same with Connor McDavid, but it's just an absolute prodigy superstar. And he's going to have to come to face against us on Monday, which is going to be scary. But after that, you got the Islanders on the road, the Stars at home, the Rangers at home, which we're hearing a lot of rumors about Patrick Kane going to the New York Rangers. That's going to be interesting to see. And then we got the Leafs again. Wow, that's awesome. Maybe don't let Ryan O'Reilly get a hat trick next time. We'll see what happens.
And they just acquired defense Jake McCabe.
Yeah.
So that should be
our former buddy, Jake McCabe.
It's always the former Sabres.
Yep.
It's always them.
And tell me why we're not in the running for Patrick Kane. Bring him home.
That's what I think.
Bring the Buffalo boy home. Bring him back. We'd be instant playoff contenders, even though we are right now. I think that we would be favorites to go to the semifinals if we bring in a guy like Patrick Kane. He brings so much depth to the team, even though he's I don't know, maybe he's on the wrong side of 30, maybe he's 35 years old, but he's still Patrick Kane. One of the best players in the league. I just want to see how this Sabres game turns out against the Blue Jackets.
And then the trade deadline is coming up this Friday.
Let's go.
So we have already made a trade for the Canucks defense, Riley Stillman, for I think just a prospect, Josh Bloom.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
I don't know either.
But I guess I got some inside information that I guess I missed, because Brent said that he was traded to the Rangers today, Patrick Kane.
Oh.
I don't know if they're playing tonight, but what the heck? Come back to Buffalo. Drive 8 hours. New York's over here. This way. Come on, Patty.
I mean, still same state, so.
Yeah. But we're going to be seeing him more often now, of course, because he's in the Eastern Conference now, so that's great. But got to pull through. We got to rally against the 44-point Columbus Blue Jackets. I know we can because we scored 7 without Tuck and Dowleen against the great 8 and Alex Ovechkin.
Yes.
Probably one of the best games I've ever been to this season. And I've been to a lot of good ones. The 6-2 game in the Goat Heads against the Blues. 6-0 in the Goat Heads against the Kings. 7-4 against the Capitals on Sunday. We're in the Goat Heads, so.
Surprisingly, all of the games I have been to, we have lost this season. So
They should wear the Goat Heads whenever you go. Then you'll see the win.
They do.
Win. What? Okay, This
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
I don't
Jenna,
know.
you will see a win this year.
Let's hope.
Don't even worry about it, because you might even see a playoff win this year, because we don't know what the standings are going to look like by the time April comes around. So hopefully they
only
go.
hope.
You can only hope, because we got to end this drought. Like, come on. This is getting a little ridiculous, a little overdone. I'm sick of watching just the same teams go to the playoffs. I want to see Buffalo in there, even if we get swept in round 1.
Which
I just want
it
to see
would
us play.
probably happen. I
Well,
mean,
we're either playing Boston or Carolina, so it's very possible. But why don't we just shock the world, too? How does that sound?
Yes.
Shock the world and sweep the Bruins.
I'd like to see it.
We got to get there first, though. We got to get there first. But Jenna, thanks for coming on. Hoping and praying for great things for the Sabres, because it's been way too long. Coming up in approximately 2 minutes, we got Ethan to talk some NBA basketball when we return.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Happy to talk some hoops with our lovely guy here, Ethan. What's going on, man?
You know what's going? I love today because today is Happy National Chocolate Souffle Day.
Oh, well, you know what? Thank you so much. I didn't know it was chocolate souffle day, so I'm going to eat a whole bunch in my Mark Stainhouse jersey when I get home. But no one's going to make chocolate souffle for me, so I have to make it myself. Turn your mic on.
The mic was off.
Oh, my goodness
They
gracious.
couldn't even hear me say it was National Chocolate Souffle Day.
So you got to repeat it for the public. I kind of already spoiled it.
Yeah, you spoiled the Well, go have a chocolate souffle in honor of Sports Hour today.
Or whoever's at my house right now, make me one before I get back. There's your assignment to do right there.
There it is.
But I'm going to eat it in my Stainhouse jersey.
Speaking of assignments, we have some unfortunate injury assignments
Yes.
in the NBA recently. Perennial All-Star, All-NBA, potential GOAT, LeBron James went down with an ankle injury in the 27-point comeback win against the Dallas Mavericks on, I believe it was Saturday.
Very gritty win, especially for a team like the Lakers, right?
Right, and it was good because the trade deadline acquisitions were important. You know, I mean, we saw noticeable impacts on the defensive end and the offensive end from players like Jared Vanderbilt. D'Angelo Russell had a pretty much quiet game, but Jared Vanderbilt was indispensable to the win and the comeback.
Definitely.
But you lose a player like LeBron, the chances you're gonna, continue to win are slim to none. So hopefully the Lakers can still rally, maybe get a late play-in push, and then get LeBron back for the playoffs. Unfortunately for a team that really wasn't contending but still had a really good star player, LaMelo Ball goes down with a fractured ankle in the win versus the New Orleans Pelicans, I believe it was?
Yep, Pelicans.
Yep, the New Orleans Pelicans. Speaking of the Pelicans, they're still without Zion Williamson, all-star power forward and first overall pick. He's had some injury trouble throughout his career.
Right. But you know what? At the same time, you got to look at a team like New Orleans. I really don't know the identity of that team. I don't think anybody really does either. So if you're the team that goes in and beats them, is that a good thing? Or is
New Orleans?
They've always been in the middle of the pack. Every time you followed that team, even though they had Zion first overall in the draft a bunch of years ago, they're still just kind of there. I mean, they're not really contenders. They're not really awful, but
I think that's a byproduct of injuries and just on paper, the New Orleans Pelicans is a very scary team.
They could be.
Zion Williamson.
I just don't think they're run correctly. I don't think they're coached properly.
Sometimes it feels like their defensive identity is just different than it should be. Their offensive seems inconsistent at best when you're relying on primary scores like Brandon Ingram. If he's not on, the rest of the floor doesn't really space properly.
They can't hold on to a lead.
Oh, God, this team
never hold on to a lead.
But I think they work better in the clutch. They're the cardiac kids.
They're
really
better
good
when they're playing from behind.
I guess so.
Yep.
Just some quick updates around the league. The Brooklyn Nets up 9 versus the Bucks currently. Lakers up 2 versus the Grizzlies. Nuggets up 4 versus the Rockets. The Kings up 11 versus the Thunder. And the Raptors currently beating the Bulls by 2.
Can we just talk about how, the complete turnaround of the Sacramento Kings?
Oh, my.
I mean, they went from, I think, 14th or 15th in the West last year. What are they pushing, 3rd and 2nd right now?
I believe they're, if I just check here really quick.
They don't have the big stars. They're doing this with some of the guys that they've been developing for years. Of course, they have Fox on the team, and he's probably their number 1 star. They're currently 3rd in the West right now. Fox is probably the biggest known star who really didn't contribute to the All-Star game that much, but they're relying on their youth. They're relying on, obviously, the draft to build up on that team, and it's finally starting to pay off for them.
We touched on this a little last week about how I feel like the Tyrese Halliburton, Domantas Sabonis last trade deadline was a team where both teams kind of won.
Especially for Indiana,
Indiana got a huge, great player, and the Kings got relevancy for the first time in 15 years.
Since Mike Bibby, right?
Yeah,
since Webber.
Since old Chris Webber and Mike Bibby ran Sacramento. They haven't been good. They're looking really strong right now, but I want to provide some context to the 3rd place seed of the Sacramento Kings, because that may be a little deceiving. They have 35 wins. Really popular, really good. 35 and 25, great win percentage. If they lose 5 games in a row and the Pelicans win those 5 games, they will flip from 3rd to 10th.
That's crazy.
So the Western Conference right now is incredibly close. The only team with a far and away lead right now is the Denver Nuggets, who sit at 43 and 19 atop the West. But you go down the list. Grizzlies 36 and 23, Kings 35 and 25, Suns 33-29,
it's all
Clippers
tight in that
33
race,
20.
man.
It's just you can go. The difference between 12th place and 3rd place is 6 wins.
6 wins.
So
or maybe a 4-game streak could get you up to 5th or 6th.
There is a very big parity in the West right now. And I think, so when it comes playoff time, you're not going to have those series where it's like, oh, this is going to be a boring 4 games where one team beats down on the other. I feel like every team that doesn't play the Denver Nuggets in the West right now, they have a shot. I mean,
Denver has a pretty comfortable lead,
We
though.
haven't seen Kevin Durant suit up for the Suns yet.
Right.
So that'll be a big little litmus test, sort of an eyeball test on Wednesday night, tomorrow.
They're only 4 games above 500, too.
Right.
And they're in the 4th place. They would host a playoff game with 4 games over 500. Yeah. That's just how tight net this Western Conference is. If you look in the East,
sort of the opposite.
The battle for first. I mean, there's a battle for first going on, but it is sort of the opposite.
Bucks on a 14-game win streak ever since getting Chris Middleton back, but they're currently
10-0 in their last 10.
They're currently tied with the Celtics for first, 44 and 18. The Celtics at 44 and 18. The Bucks at 43 and 17. So those games just kind of haven't played the same amount of games yet. Down the list we go. Sixers in 3rd at 39 and 21. Cavs at 39 and 25 are in 4th. The Knicks. The New York Knickerbockers are 39 and 25. Are 36 and 27.
Boys in the blue and
Julius
orange.
Randle and Jalen Brunson are getting it done in MSG every night.
8-2 in their last 10.
They're
I think Stephen A's got to be happy about this one over at ESPN. This team is absolutely hot. They also they need to carry this through the month of March going into the playoffs, because if they're playing meaningful games in February, they have to carry that into March.
They beat the second place seed Celtics, and the Celtics look like world beaters most nights. But when you got Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, especially if Julius Randle is knocking down his jump shots, that's sort of been the live or die. You live or die with a Julius Randle every night if you're the Knicks. You know Jalen Brunson's going to score for you.
It could be your greatest weapon or your Achilles heel.
You know Emmanuel Cook is going to go out there and get you points. But Julius Randle, if he's not hitting his jumpers, if he's not scoring off the dribble, you kind of lose a team. Another team like that is the Toronto Raptors. The 30-32 currently
just on the outside looking
currently
in.
ninth on the, so that they're in the play-in spot right now. They would play the Miami Heat. They would play the Atlanta Hawks right now in the play-ins.
7-3 in their last 10.
They're hot in the last 10. Pascal Siakam, they did upgrade at the deadline. They bought in. They're looking for more. They picked up Jakob Poeltl, who's looked insubstantial at best. He's looked okay. He's been a good contributor.
He's had decent nights.
But for a guy we were going like, this guy is our piece away. If he's not out here leading or second in your team and scoring every night, why did you trade for him?
That just shows the depth on the bench that Toronto has. The fact that you have some of your key, who you think are your stars, that are underperforming, or just playing inconsistent, I think is the right word. You have your decent nights, you have your not so decent nights, but when you have that depth on the bench that can come on when a player's struggling and pick you up, that you can obviously be pushed into that play-in spot at least, or maybe the 7th or 6th seed going into the playoffs.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Masai Ujiri took some counsel from our friend Trevor Hauer here, because they did actually just upgrade some veteran depth. They picked up Will Barton in free agency and waived Juancho Hernan Gomez of the Hustle movie fame, movie star Bo Cruz. He got cut. Maybe not the same as reality. And so we'll see. We'll look, because Will Barton can go get you points.
Yeah.
And I think right now the Raptors' main need right now is points. They play good defense. That's always the same in Nick Nurse's defensive systems. They have good rotations. They have great length. On and on. What they need is 3-point scoring and shooting, because Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam are number one. Fred VanVleet and Garrison Jr. are number 1 and number 2 3-point shooters. After that, you have OG Anunoby, who is sort of hit or miss from three. I think he's like 36% shooter. Beyond that,
definitely get those numbers up.
Beyond that, you're plucking at straws.
Yeah.
So Will Barton, sharpshooter, veteran, good leadership. Hopefully he provides a spark for the ninth place Raptors.
And how many games have the Raptors just been unlucky where they lose by maybe 2 or 3, 4 points?
That's been the same since.
They've been on the
forever.
outside of a bunch of different games. Sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce their way. I feel like sometimes the refs, it could be one call that can affect the rest of the game, and they end up losing by 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 points. And I mean, that's something that the Raptors have to overcome, and they've been doing that lately, winning 7 out of their last 10 games. But they are 14 games back from the lead. Kind of like the West, all it takes is maybe a 3, 4, 5 game win streak to get themselves launched into a decent spot.
I mean, when you're in the NBA, you want to be on the inside looking out. You want to be in that playoff spot, because you know that for sure you're making it. You don't got to play any extra games.
And other teams are trying to catch you too.
But if you're a team like the Wizards or the Raptors, you're kind of okay clinging to that play-in spot, because maybe you can get lucky. Maybe you can catch fire like the Knicks have right now.
But it's teams like the Chicago Bulls that really just have fans scratching their heads.
Chicago Bulls.
What happened?
I don't know. I feel like Billy Donovan has just lost the locker room. I don't know if DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine forgot how to shoot a basketball.
They're riding around like, what, 3rd last year?
Yeah.
Consistently doing well?
But before DeMar got injured, they were 2nd in the East, looking like world beaters, looking like, holy, this could be the team that makes the difference. And
the train just came off the track, never found its way back.
Since January, they've looked anemic on the offensive end. They've looked terrible on defense. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. They can't buy a score. They can't take the lid off the basket every night.
Right.
I think it might be panic button time soon in Chicago, because
Is it time to blow it up and rebuild? You think?
I don't know. DeMar DeRozan.
At least retool.
DeMar DeRozan's not getting any younger. He's in his age 34 season, I believe. I mean, you have some decent pieces. Ayo Dosunmu's a pretty good young player. You got Kobe White, but those players are going to have expiring deals soon, and you do not have a big salary cap.
You have
Zach
to choose
LaVine
whether
sitting
you
on that big contract,
or let him walk. Right?
Nikola Vucevic, age 31. So you really got to think soon. Better sooner rather than later. Don't let it kind of linger.
Yeah, but it's also teams like Orlando who you really hope just being an NBA fan, you want them to get better. they're still hanging around 13th, 14th place. So maybe it could get better for them.
You have your basement dogs, you have your bottom feeders, but whoa.
Oh my goodness gracious! I think it's time to wrap up this. Ethan, thank you for coming on. You're going to be in for a treat.
You guys got a treat after the break.
We have Brock on to talk some left turns, NASCAR when we return.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles, watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort.
To get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father.
Cosplayer.
Mentor.
Actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward. Come together.
And discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Up. You can't make up this attire that we have going on right here. Brock is on here. Brock the Foot is here to talk some NASCAR. They raced at Fontana this week. Pretty solid race. Wasn't as entertaining. There weren't 57 lead changes like there were in the Daytona 500 last time. But what's going on, man?
Something here is afoot. I'm telling you that much. We can make like a bunch of foot references all night, but we'll get right into it. Now, there's like a bunch of stuff we can talk about. Like,
sure.
Man, Busch came back.
How about my pick to win? My pick to win from last week. You know what I said? To avenge my defeat, or avenge his defeat at the Daytona 500. If the race was 200 laps, he would have won. 1998 rules, he would have won. I said he's going to go into this race really, really angry. He's going to take the win. He took the lead with about 10 laps to go, secured it, held Chase Elliott back, and took the win. You know that he's the first driver since 2007 to take the number 8 to victory lane. Do you know which driver that was that drove the number 8 to victory lane, driving the red Budweiser Chevy for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated?
I want to know, Trevor. Who was he?
Mr. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the absolute legend to drive the number 8 car. Everyone that's behind the camera knows that I brought NASCAR 07 in the control room, the green room today. And I went around, won that race. So actually, that was the latest number 8 car to go to the victory lane. But whatever, we're talking about NASCAR 07 by EA Sports here. But anyways, Kyle Busch driving for RCR for his new team, picks up his first win with the new team. And if you look at the top 10, it's an interesting top 10. Chase Elliott with Hendricks riding in second place. Ross Chastain driving for Stuart Haas in third place. Daniel Suarez getting a top 5 finish. So that's back-to-back top 10s for him. Kevin Harvick, who's in his final season, gets his first top 5 finish of the year, so good for him. Dennis the Menace, my boy, Denny Hamlin, finishing in his first top 10 of the year. Driving in 6th for Joe Gibbs. Brad Keselowski finishing 7th. Alex Bowman finishing 8th. Austin Dillon finishing 9th. And Joey Logano finishing 10th. It was a pretty decent race. Even though Joey Logano led about, close to 60, 65 laps in this one. I thought this was his race to win midway through. then I just saw Kyle Busch kind of creeping up and up in the racetrack, climbing his way through 10th up to 7th, and in the final stage, he started off in 6th, made his way to the front.
He was like a sneaky little snake right there, just like creeping all the way up to first place, a little snake.
Yeah, I mean, cutting through the inside, outside lanes, having great pit stops. Joey Logano's team lost him the race. Joey Logano's team absolutely lost him the race. They had a pit road penalty where they were changing his right rear tire, and they put the tire on someone else's stall, and they ended up getting a 20-second penalty, which held him back. He was in first for most of the race and ended up finishing 10th. It's still a top 10, but man, that's got to sting for him if you're I mean, that's you in the car. All you can do is drive that thing, and your pit crew messes your chances up for a win. That's got to sting.
It got to sting. Like, how long was it again? Just remind me.
A 20-second penalty.
20 seconds.
Yep.
You can do a lot of things in 20 seconds,
Yep.
including just like, oh, I don't know, change your car and all that. But no. You got to take a little detail. Just like, oh, we should put it over here. No. We should put it here. Like,
no, it was a fast pit stop. You know, they refueled extremely fast. They were changing tires extremely fast, and then NASCAR buzzes into his ear. You got to stay in your pit stop for 20 seconds because one of your crew guys had a tire in Daniel Suarez's stall. That's a rule. You got to give your competitors equal amount of room as you. You can't take up any extra room to gain yourself any extra advantage. But that actually sent him back to 21st.
Yeah.
And he went from 21st to 10th. So that's a big improvement there. Gained 11 positions to get to that final spot. Got a top 10 finish. That's 1 point in stage points. Ross Chastain, though, who finished 3rd in this race, really wish he could sweep the stages. He won stages 1 and 2. He's probably, he's one of those unsung heroes that you really just wouldn't think would take stage 1 or stage 2. But you put him, a developmental driver, on a good team like Stewart-Haas, good things could happen.
Really great. Really, really great. He just abstained 3rd, just like his last name. But yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, he abstained 3rd, Chastain 3rd. But one of the guys who I was really impressed with, who was riding around the middle of the pack pretty much the whole day, was Kevin Harvick. Right around 15th, 16th. He was hanging around 13th the whole bunch, but he knows this is his final season.
Yeah.
And if I'm putting any money down, if you believe in scripts, like the NFL, remember that whole thing that was going around saying the NFL was scripted? If NASCAR is truly scripted, put your money on Kevin Harvick winning the championship in his final season as a full-time NASCAR racer.
Yeah, the runners are just like running the whole entire season like, okay, we got to do this, we got to do that, and just have your guy over there just like, yeah, we're going to win.
Well, you know what? If the script writers were actually good, they would put Denny Hamlin in the victory circle at the end of the season. Give him his first NASCAR championship. Kevin Harvick's won a couple, but I don't think you can script blowing a tire at lap 187 or something random. So, I think this is Kevin Harvick's. I think this is his year. I think he's more determined to win it this year more than any other year. But you can't also, look over a guy like Kyle Busch or maybe a Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, who I was writing off yesterday completely. Yeah. He was riding in the middle of the pack as well, and he had a great pit stop at the end of stage 2 to put himself into 5th. Yeah. He put himself into 2nd, but with these new NASCAR aerodynamic packages, you can't really, it's so hard to pass the leader. The battle for 2nd and 3rd is always there, but once that leader gets in front, it's hard to catch him.
Yeah, man, that was just intense. I remember watching at home, just like watching the entire three-way of just speeds and such. Obviously, I didn't watch that at home, but still.
But you know what? At that track, which we can get into right now, it's the 2-mile oval track. It's not a super speedway, so you obviously take your foot off the gas a couple times in the turns. But they're actually going to reconfigure the track for next year. And a lot of NASCAR drivers didn't really like this because this was a track where they can push 205 miles per hour on the track. And they really don't want to make any unnecessary changes for it because there's a lot of racers that dominate this track, like Kyle Busch, like Joey Logano, we've seen over the years. Sort of like Chase Elliott, who consistently finishes in the top 5 at this track. We don't know what changes are going to be made. I said if NASCAR turns this into a road course, there's going to be a lot of fans and drivers that are going to get upset because this isn't IndyCar. This isn't Formula One. We don't need another track that has, oh, right turn here. Oh, 27th turn right here. Like, we don't need that. We want to watch them go as fast as they can, end races at a normal time, less cautions, and we want a clean finish every single week.
Yes.
I think if you're going to change Fontana, at least change it to maybe 1.5 miles. But I don't know. I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, indeed. Just leave it as is. We don't need like an extra mile. We just need just like an entire circle at this point. Like if you're gonna like do some changes.
Well, and it's also a track, not to mention that you could go 4 or 5 wide in.
Yeah.
Like car on the bottom, car here, car here, car here, car here. You can have a 5-car battle for first or second place, and that's one of the best parts about that track. And you really don't have much or many racetracks like that at all, besides maybe Kansas or Chicagoland that you can go 3 or 4 wide on. But I know racetracks like Charlotte in Texas, you can push 200 miles per hour there. You can still go 3 wide for the lead, but you really don't see it that much. So one of my favorite racetracks to watch, one of the favorites from NASCAR, from the NASCAR drivers, but NASCAR said it was a long time coming to fix this track. In my opinion, I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah. If you're going to fix a track, fix Watkins Glen, or fix a track like, fix a track like Kansas where you'd have the same leader through the last 120 laps of the race where people are just tuning out and leaving the exits early because they know who's going to win that race. Yeah. But that was the Pala Casino 400. Kyle Busch took that one. We didn't really see that much similar success of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He finished 12th. Daytona's a wacky race. Yeah. He's only won at super speedways in his career. So to finish 12th is not really unusual for a guy like Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Yeah, as the almighty Ricky Bobby once said, if you're not first, you're last. And
but on here it says if you're not first, you're first.
That's a typo. But hey, Stenhouse, that's one heck of a
Mark Stenhouse is racing in NASCAR now?
Stenhouse?
Yeah, Ricky Stenhouse. Yeah, whose house Stenhouse?
Yeah.
Finished in 12th. Despite getting the first, or getting his 3rd win of his career, the first race of the season at Daytona. But Ross Chastain is turning into a great NASCAR driver. Chase Elliott, we know the stuff he can do on the track. But that leads us into the Pennzoil 400 as NASCAR stays west, going to Las Vegas. 400-mile race. Again, this is the home track of Kurt and Kyle Busch. Yep. So you know my pick to win this week. I think it's going to be Kyle Busch that's going to take it. Back-to-back weeks. I'm 1 for 1 in predictions right now. Hey, I should have bet on that. Why didn't I bet on that race? I could have won some money on that. Even if I put like a couple bucks on it. Listen to me right now, all you listeners out there. I was 1 for 1 in predictions earlier this year. I'm going with Kyle Busch again. He's going to go back-to-back. I'm very confused. What are we looking at here with Whopper here?
Oh, that was just like some random bits right there. Just, a little bit of Whopper, and all that nonsense. But, just...
Is that supposed to be a pun against, I don't know, I guess the NASCAR's use of commercials every 6 laps or every 5 minutes? You saw that a whole bunch. What's this last part here?
Oh, well, as we're just going to sign out real quick, I just want to say that as a great Kevin James once said, God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engines!
Let's go. I think that's where we should end it right there. That's awesome, Brock. So I think, if I just pull my script up, my goodness gracious, we're going to have Ethan back on here to talk some NCAA college hoops when we return.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move.
so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
No seat.
What are you guys in the
cued
control
us.
room?
What's going on in there?
Are we on now? Oh my
We're on
goodness!
now.
Control room, please figure it out. I'm
Fix
gonna
it.
Bill O'Reilly this table right now. We'll do
Sarah.
it live.
Sarah.
This is ridiculous.
Fix it.
Fix it. It's probably I don't even know who's back there, but oh my gosh.
What's cute?
Welcome back.
Anyways.
Yeah, we were cute, and
long
then we
time
pulled
no
it back,
see.
and then we were cute, and we pulled it back again.
Long time no see, Trevor.
Dude, it's been like what,
They're
15
trying to,
whole
you know what they're
minutes?
trying to do? They're trying
Sabotage a good segment.
They're trying to ruin our chocolate souffle day, and I will
You
not stand
can't
for
ruin
it.
chocolate souffle day.
Because chocolate souffles are amazing.
And I'm gonna put $20 on the fact that nobody at my house is making me one.
I'm gonna put $20 on the fact that the Houston Cougars could be frauds.
I think they're absolutely going to be frauds.
I
Sarah,
think-
I don't appreciate what you just texted me. Are you serious? You must listen to Kellyanne and me. You idiots.
Okay.
I don't
all right.
appreciate that.
Let's talk about basketball.
Ugh.
Let's talk about some hoops.
I was listening. I thought she gave us a signal. How am I supposed to listen to a signal?
It's on both of us. Anyways, I'm seeing the best scorer on this Houston team is Sasser with 17 points per game. I don't think your leading scorer having 17 points per. Maybe at the college level it would be good because obviously the NBA has higher standards. But at 17 points per, if he's your top scorer,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, you are stipended by Walker with 11 points per game, Roberts with 10 points per game, Mark with 10 points per game. They have consistent scoring throughout the roster, but I think when they get to the tournament, when they get to the big day in March, the chances of these point totals getting them past it, because you know the 16th, because they're right now the number one ranked team in the nation.
Yep.
So probably the number one seed in their
They've
conference.
also played the most games, right?
And they played the most games.
Yep.
So I think the chances of them facing a 16 seed team and losing, very slim.
But you gotta
Facing
go
a 16
on.
team, the chip on their shoulder, with nothing else matters besides this one game. You know they're gonna go out there, chuck up random half-court threes. I mean, think about the UMBC Virginia game last year.
No.
Virginia looked flat, and I see a lot of that number one seed Virginia team in this number one seed Houston team because they look like flat on offense. They're not scoring a lot.
They're
play
a very beatable team.
For what I see, they play very good defense. Don't get me wrong. The defense is immaculate.
Do you know what they say down in Houston for the Houston Cougars? Do you know
What
what
do
like
they
their number
say?
one go-to saying is?
What is
It's
it?
whose house?
It's staying house.
That's awesome. Isn't that great? They say our house, but their thing is whose house.
Whose house? Right.
That should be trademarked by the Buffalo Bandits.
It should
I mean, come on now. And I also thought, let's look at the 2 seed. Does this surprise you at all? I thought Alabama was a football school.
Alabama, I love this team.
They turned around, slapped us in the face, and said, "Listen, we can play basketball."
The polar opposite scale of Houston and Alabama. This Alabama team gives me life. They got some great players
Dominic
down there.
Welch, Mark Sears, Jaden Bradley. A lot of solid players that are really making people wonder.
Okay, but there's some controversy with the whole Brandon Miller thing.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's going to remain in playing remains to be seen. But when this kid on the floor is electric.
Yeah.
Brandon Miller, sometimes he can just become unstoppable out there. He had a massive overtime with a game-winning shot a couple of games ago.
Where he really just turned the lights on.
He turned them on. He kept the arena clean.
Yeah.
41 points against South Carolina and a game winner in overtime. This man was unconscious from the field. He was just hitting everything.
Absolute stud. On
14
the,
of
on the court in
25,
overtime.
7 of 8 from the line, 6 of 13 from deep. This guy, unlike the Houston team, this guy can come in and get you buckets.
Yes.
And I think when it comes down to it, when it comes down to college, when it comes down to March, when it comes down to the madness, what you need is buckets.
Yep.
And Brandon Miller has buckets written
Or
all over him.
buckets in the clutch more than anything else. I
Yeah,
think.
right, because you can have a player who can score 25 points in the first half.
Right.
But then he could go ice cold from the field, misses clutch free throws, miss big shots, especially when he's open.
And then look who's back in the third spot. A team that really just doesn't seem to go away. That's the Kansas Jayhawks.
The Kansas Jayhawks, they look solid, but they're always solid. They're like Gonzaga. They're like K-State. They're like Tennessee. These teams are always putting together good products on the court. A team that is usually putting good product on the court, but hasn't lately, is the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah.
You know, Coach K had his last season last year. Lots of turmoil there. They're not ranked in the top 25. They're losing games. They just don't have that same Duke-ness to them. You know,
they're always like someone's pick to win it all every
Right.
single year. I can't
And you
even
can never
imagine
count
this
them
year
out.
being anybody's pick right now.
You can never count them out. Don't get me wrong. If they can make the tournament, they can do big things. They're looking really, really just flaccid on offense.
Take a look
right
at the
now.
two Indiana teams. You have the Hoosiers and you have the Purdue Boilermakers in the top 25. That should be good for the state of Indiana.
You know, Indiana stays winning.
Stays winning. Except maybe the football team kind of sucks, but
I mean, what do they got? Like corn? That's Nebraska.
yeah, that's Nebraska. They have
Nebraska's
like
the corn state.
no, they have what do you call those? Like the sugar pie things. What do you call those things? I don't know. It's a Hoosier thing.
The Indiana sugar pie.
Yeah, the Indiana sugar pie. I think
I'm
it is.
sure is the
No, they have the Indy 500, right?
Oh, that's NASCAR.
Yeah. Well, the NASCAR is actually called the Brickyard. IndyCar, it's the Indy 500.
Indy 500.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Brickyard 400 and
See,
the Indy 500.
I'm learning something new.
Yep.
So I'm assuming the viewers at home are also learning something new. Like it's National Chocolate
Well,
Souffle
they
Day.
got two of their D1 schools in, so that whole state's going to be invested in this March Madness.
Yeah, so, you know, when it comes down to Indiana having fans, you know, even if you go to Indiana University, if you get eliminated, Purdue's still there, still up in the same state. Why not support them?
Right.
I want to talk
Even though
about.
there's kind of a big rivalry between those two teams.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Hope I
But-
don't meet in the top.
But you know what? If you're living in the middle of the state, in between both colleges,
And you have like, I mean, why not?
you don't have a dog in the fight. You got two teams to root for.
Support the Indiana.
Yep.
I like to talk about teams that I think are dark horses. I like to talk about teams that shouldn't win the tournament, probably won't win the tournament, but you just love to root for them. I think about UMBC all those years ago beating Virginia. I think about
Loyola Chicago.
Loyola Chicago on their incredible run with like 3-game winners.
Were they losing the Elite Eight or something like
I
that?
think they were either Elite 8 or Sweet 16, but that team had love written all over it.
Upset
I
after
want to
upset
talk
after
about the
upset.
St. Mary's Gales. These
Dude.
guys are in the top 25. They're kind of like Houston. They don't have many scores to go out there and get you.
17th ranked.
Yeah, 17th ranked. So they're only 17. They're top 25 in the country, which is no easy feat. But when you think of colleges and you think of March Madness, how many colleges would you name before we talked about St. Mary's? Because boy, is this team
How many
fun.
teams do you think would be in front of them in the rankings?
Right?
Probably name 25 teams.
25 teams, but here they are at 17. Logan Johnson leads the way offensively. He is their I believe their point guard. He's averaging 15 a night, 4 assists, 5 boards, shooting 46, 31, and 68. Those free throw numbers are trash, don't get me wrong. But, you know, the field goal percentage looks good. The three-point percentage for college looks good. These guys probably might not be legit, but you know they're going to have a lot of heart in the fight.
Right. I mean, a team that I'm looking at as a dark horse, potential dark horse, is the Texas Longhorns. 9th seed, but that offense led by Tyrese Hunter, Marcus Carr, and Timmy Allen. I mean, they've been looking pretty good. They've lost some games that they really should have won if they're going to be the 9th seed, but if they get hot at the right time, they can carry that at least into maybe some of the final rounds like the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. I wouldn't have them in your Final Four. That's just a team to watch right there. I think it's a solid pick for you to maybe fill out your brackets to maybe the 16th or the 8th round or the round of 8.
Tyrese Hunter, he plays beautiful basketball when
He's
he's
great.
on.
Yep.
As of late, he has not been on.
No.
Scored at single digits again on February 14th. They just lost versus Baylor. Hunter, again, underwhelming. Only contributed 13 points offensively on 5 of 13
You should be
shooting.
able to rebound those numbers at least against a team like TCU.
You gotta
a 9th
hope.
seed against a 22 seed, you should be able to hold those guys down.
Yep. So we gotta hope for Tyrese Hunter to have big games coming up. Carr obviously just solid in the middle.
Definitely solid.
Other teams that I look for to keep an eye on. I mean, again,
Anybody talking about Xavier?
I'm watching Houston. Xavier, always a good team. I just love the name of that college. Baum, Fremantle, Jones, Nunge, these guys.
And they're behind St. Mary's, I think.
And they're behind St. Mary's.
Wow.
So maybe Xavier, maybe St. Mary's. And if you're in a fun mood, pick Texas.
Pick Texas, why not? But I would be very hesitant to pick Houston, or always to pick the number 1 seed.
Always root for the number 1 seed.
Sometimes it really just shoots you right in the foot.
Hedge your bets, you know?
Yep.
Keep yourself covered.
But Ethan, thanks for coming on a second time. You believe that?
Double dose.
2 times.
On chocolate souffle
On
day.
chocolate souffle day.
And a double dose
I might
means
have 2 now.
Double O-Town.
Double O-Town. Double Sabres victory, I think. I don't even know the score of that game yet.
I'm for my mental health, I'm not checking.
Me too. But thanks for coming on. We're going to have Brent to talk some Buffalo. What? Lacrosse. when we return.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's gotta be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
All right, we're here for our NLL segment.
What?
Okay. So the Bandits did not play this week.
No, they did not.
So,
but big game coming up this weekend.
Big game coming up this weekend. But if you did any scoreboard watching, Rochester Nighthawks, what the heck? New York Riptide, what the heck? They went to overtime, tied at, I think it was 12-12. 14 minutes of overtime. New York Riptide couldn't score a single goal, and the Nighthawks took it in OT.
If that was us, the game would have been over.
The game would have been over in 30 seconds.
30 seconds, yeah. Because, we don't have this. Hold on, Trevor. We talked about this last week, and now you finally got it. I think it's only right that you show it off.
We got the jersey.
Turn around.
We got the jersey.
Whose house?
Whose house? Stain House. I think my mic's stuck against my chair, so I couldn't completely show it. But
and I think we actually have one of the greatest pictures
of all time. That's whose house it is.
That's our guy.
You know what? He's actually taking applications now to DJ your local homecoming dances and proms and stuff. So reach out to
and
Mark
birthday
Who's
parties.
House.
I heard he was at Chuck E. Cheese recently.
Oh yeah, he's doing Chuck E. Cheese parties too.
Look at him. That guy is Chuck E. Cheese, bro. Look at that smile. These lights are all on because of that smile right now.
Yeah.
He's lighting up this whole room.
These lights aren't even connected to any outlet or anything. It's solar power through his smile.
He's just.
Does that make any sense? Electromagnetic energy.
I learned that from
I learned that from Christopher Daly.
Yeah. All right. So we got a big game coming up here against the Halifax.
Yep, three-way tie for first again.
Three-way tie for
first.
But
the Bandits have the tiebreaker over all
Still got Dane Smith leading the league.
You see who's coming back from injury? Josh Burns coming back from injury.
Yep.
Chase Frazier's coming back from injury. And Tehoka Nanakoke is coming back from injury. We're taking on the Halifax Thunderbirds Friday night at 6:30 because they're so far east that they're an extra hour ahead. Why are you the way you are, Nova Scotia? This is ridiculous.
It's almost like they're in Vancouver.
Dude, I'm not even at my pregame at 6:30 on a Friday night.
But you know who is? Our one and only
Mark Stainhouse.
Mark Stainhouse and Topher.
And Topher, obviously.
Topher's always.
Well, he's probably pre-gaming right now because, what is it, the episode 3 of the semester, and the dude hasn't even showed up one freaking time.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
He's actually here right now. Did you
Is
believe
he actually?
that? He's been here.
Dude, fix the screen!
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, you know what we gotta do? We
gotta read the credits.
No. It's just the back page.
Oh.
Just the back page of credits.
Only back.
But anyway, we got this huge game coming up this weekend.
And I heard
against
that
Halifax.
somebody at this table, not me, is gonna be there.
Not this weekend, because it's in Halifax.
Or
buddy.
your sister. Oh, she said you're going to the Sabres game. That's
Sabres game on Saturday.
You're going to the Sabres game.
Wow, do you listen when other people talk?
No.
But it's going to be on the East Coast, Nova Scotia. We got all these players coming back. But you know what? We actually have 2 former Bandits coaching this game. John Tavares for the Bandits and Mike Acursi for the Thunderbirds.
Johnny who?
Johnny who? Tavares. But if I had to give out a score prediction right here, so you got to hold guys like Cody Jamieson down, some of those other key players on the Halifax Thunderbirds. Their goaltender, Hill, is not the best. They're 5-5. They're not a part of that 3-way tie with us, Toronto, and Rochester. But if we can really just Pound the
hammer
goals into
him.
the net.
That's all we
Get
gotta
as many
do.
shots as possible. Get them over the shoulder. Do whatever you can. I think the Bandits win this game 14-8.
I like that score prediction, actually. I was
I'm
going to
going
say something
14-8.
more along the lines of like 15-9, 15-10. So it's about the same, you know.
15-9, 15. I think that would work because Matt Vince has been very on and off with goaltending.
I was
He might
just
give
about
up
to
10.
say a hot take for this game might be our goaltending. Like he's been a little, like I like him. He's a good goalie, but like I don't know, that last game he just seemed a little off.
He did. You know, he should have made a lot of saves, especially from shots from Joey Rezaterets and from all the rest of the Philadelphia Wings. But we ended up taking that game in OT. Hopefully it's not as much of a nail biter this year or this week, but it is Halifax.
I don't think it will.
It
I
is
don't think it will
Halifax.
be. It's Halifax.
5-5, but you don't want to take any team lightly. It's any given weekend, right?
But we have not played in 2 weeks.
Well, you know what? That was good. We needed some of our guys.
So,
Some of our guys.
We got
to
the
get
guys
healthy.
back. We got the rest.
Oh my God!
And
you should see the circus behind the camera.
I know. It's just. Yeah, don't worry. We'll wrap it up.
We'll wrap up right now.
Don't worry.
They're doing the Cotton Eye Joe back there.
We're
This is
probably
awesome.
already cut, but guess what? We wouldn't know because the screen doesn't work.
Trevor, if you're out there, can you please just come out here and, Sarah, you couldn't fix it, but it's probably a simple fix like switching the input or something. Like, I demand to be shown one more time.
One more. Just one more for the
Because
folks.
I want to see Mark Stainhouse on the screen again.
Just to
DJ Stainhouse.
Can we actually get a very slow zoom in on Stainhouse for the outro?
Can we please do that? This is ridiculous.
This is unbelievable. Just
Who
a
is
slow
in charge?
zoom in. That's all we want.
Yeah, just a slow zoom in
And then
while
you
I'm
can
reading
cut
the
it.
credits.
While you
I'm
read the
reading
credits, zoom in, slow zoom in on this
Turn
beautiful creature.
Turn aside!
This is ridiculous!
Fine, this is ridiculous. But you know what? We have to read the credits. We have to read the credits. We'll wrap up. We'll read the credits.
We'll wrap up.
But I just got to say, this is absolutely ridiculous. We had the entire Christmas break to fix this thing. Nope, didn't do it.
And we
Gotta
have
read
the
credits.
guy here right now to fix it.
And also, we're not going to show me wearing this sweet jersey and him wearing this sweet, like, fleece jacket. Come on.
With
show
this
us on
sweet,
the screen.
sexy guy behind us?
Yeah, with this absolute machine. He's going to be playing at children's birthday parties. This is ridiculous. I was going to say, eyes out, Western New York.
All right, we'll
Just
read
chill back there. My goodness.
You know,
Wow.
they're just so against us going over time.
So huge shout-outs.
Huge shout-outs. We got a couple shout-outs
to stage
here.
managers, Jonathan Hagan and Kellyanne Hender. On the audio, Mr. Brent Casillo.
Whoa!
B-Rent Music, check him out on YouTube.
Nice.
And Sam Falone. Yes, where is she?
She's on audio
Back
right
there.
now.
She's on audio. She's back there. I just want to point to everyone and make sure. Graphics, Sarah Gorton. Let's go.
Shout
Camera operators, Cameron Houtman. I think I said your name right. Let's go.
Yeah.
And Noah Seskin, Mr. Rock Band himself. Big shout out to you, my friend. And VTR somehow won the freaking Member of the Week. It's been 2 weeks. Haven't even gotten a new one. So, Lily Hauer. And shout out to Mark, whose house? Stainhouse.
And
we'll
brought
see
to you
you
by
next
your one
week.
and only host of Sports
Host
Hour.
of Sports Hour, Eyes Out Western New York, Mark Stainhouse. We will see you same time, same
Sabres
place.
are still losing 3-1.
Because we play down to competition. What can I say, man?
But not over here at Sports Hour.
We'll see you same time, same place next week. Hendricks Hall, turn us